that one.
Yes, this is episode 10, What Hath Civilization Wrought? It is trying to drop the bad habit that is religion. We don't have to do this anymore, really. Like slavery, we could drop the bad habit that is religion. It just grew and evolved to its present form that we think is normal just the last 1,500 years, really. And there wasn't much religion around at all prior to 10,000 years of civilization. Some people try and make the claim, it goes back to 40,000 years in cave art and all that. And the evidence for that is really, really flimsy. It's mostly looking at the past through magico-religious thinking. And there'll be an episode on that someday, too. We did get a lot of good stuff came with civilization. It wasn't all ugly. We got specialization, which is probably one of the hugest things we could ask for, where people would specialize and become experts in different trades, in different modes of thinking, in academia, and later in science. Phenomenal. A whole episode on that someday. We got writing, our exogenetic information store, where we can keep information outside of our brains, like accounting, art, and books to begin with, in simple writing, clay tablets, all that kind of stuff. And now we have just, petabytes of information created every day that we store in computers, on the cloud, you name it. We got global trade. Now we have global information transfer, right? In the palm of your hand with your net, with the net and smart devices, tablets, phones, laptops, what have you, right? We also got laws and regulations to protect us and even up each other's interests. We got sewers, water treatment, vaccines, on and on and on, right? We got government, insurance, other safety nets like police protection, fire departments. I could go on with all the good stuff we have developed over the last 10,000 years, right? But we developed some bad habits too, most of which we've dropped over the millennia and just kept the good stuff. It's better to live today than at any time before in human history. Vaccines, low murder rates, world travel, abundant healthy food. We're feeding 90+% of the 8 billion people on the planet, when it used to be we're only feeding half of them, right? Vast entertainment options, reduced poverty. We'll talk about all those down the road. But there are some lingering bad habits we need to drop, like others we have dropped. Like religion and patriarchy are my favorite too. They need to go. And patriarchy is mostly upheld by religions, as are homophobia, science denial. So let's concentrate today, boys and girls, on just religion. All right? Religion wasn't always like the patriarchal, hierarchical, moralistic, misogynistic, sexually repressive, homophobic mess that we have today. Right? Institutions we take for granted today, Christianity, Islam, even Buddhism is ridiculously patriarchal and homophobic. And we'll have an episode on that, I guarantee. They're all peculiar with it, and they're all anti-science as well. This is not normal. It's not needed. It's not necessary for the flourishing of human beings. In fact, religions mostly just get in the way. We could spend a whole episode talking about the mess that's going on in the United States right now with the conservative Republicans attacking every woman's right you can think of and transgender issues, and it's all bullshit. It's all based in religion. Okay. Religions are just primitive explanation of how the world was supposed to work, and they never did work. Okay. They're leftovers from ignorant barbaric times and nothing more. They're not something we have to have. Humans are religious by design. That's bullshit. Yes, humans have tendencies toward agency and belief in supernatural causes, but we've eliminated most of those through science, and we can eliminate it not more. The only bastion of that stuff left is mostly religion. Okay? And they're full of imaginary descriptions and proscriptions for some sort of afterlife that doesn't exist either, right? All supposed scriptures belong on the ancient myth shelf with all the other ancient mythologies. So you'll notice on the image I have, Egyptian Book of the Dead, and I have Norse mythology, Greek mythology, right? And I added Hebrew and Arabic mythology, which is the Bible and Quran, respectively. They're the only two really being taught as, to much of the world as some kind of truth anymore. The Egyptian religion rather, had about a 3,000-year run. That's twice as long as Christianity. It was nothing until it was adopted by the Roman Empire, right? And the Quran and Hadith didn't show up till the 7th and 8th century, actually the 8th century, 9th century AD. So they've only been around, excuse me, 1,200 years, whatever it might be. So the Egyptian religion is twice as long as Christianity, 3 times as long as Islam, and it doesn't exist anymore. It was the biggest thing going for the longest time. So don't tell me Christianity, and the other thing about Christianity and Islam, whichever one you belong to, there's over 6 billion people that pay absolutely no attention to your religion. 2/3 of the planet utterly ignores, more like 3/4 of the planet, utterly ignores Christianity and Islam. Okay? So get over it, right? We don't need to separate the human tribe into arbitrary groups of eternally damned anymore, right? Telling kids this is eternal truth is a lie. There is no proof of any mythology, no evidence of any of them at any time were ever true. So here's some bad habits we've already dropped. I mentioned some good ones, right? We don't do human sacrifice anymore. That was a big deal for a couple thousand years in human civilization history. We don't do animal sacrifice anymore. We finally got rid of slavery 150, 200 years ago. It's been pushed to the black market. It's the only place there's some indentured servant and sexual slavery going on, but it's minuscule compared to what it used to be as part of the population. And it is illegal in every country. There's no country in the world that has laws on the books where you can buy and sell human beings anymore. That was normal for 5,000 years. Gone. Feudalism and the divine right of kings. There's a couple of horrible ideas. Mostly gone. Nobody lives as peasants and serfs anymore, right? When most humans scratched an agriculture, a pittance existence under the rule of a lord or some other rich landowner, that feudalism, that, serf setup, that's gone. Torture. Okay, torture was common, all countries. Rack, burning at the stake, breaking on the wheel, drawn and quartered, just horrendous practices. Too many to list. Beheading was regular punishment for all kinds of things. Only exists, as far as we know, in Saudi Arabia anymore, right? Violent entertainment, that one's gone. Gladiators, animal fights, pretty much illegal everywhere. Nobody does gladiators anymore. Capital punishment is mostly gone, but Saudi Arabia, Iran, the U.S., a few other places still maintain capital punishment. The rest of the world has gone a little more humane than that, right? Religion is next, and it's been going slowly over the centuries, okay? In the West, at least, prior to the Enlightenment and the Age of Reason, and the big scientific and technological revolutions, maybe, let's say, the 1600s, marked the height of religion in the West, right? Everybody today is incomparably less religious than people were 300-400 years ago. I've mentioned that before, and I'll have an episode on the whole details that historians have chronicled for us. But even people that identify with a religion today, even people that are hardcore, don't believe that comets portend evil. Most don't believe that, somehow we sinned against God and that's why we're being punished with plagues and stuff like that. Most buy the germ theory of disease, right? Okay. So why does it need to go? Why does religion finally need to go out the world? Well, one reason is it upholds delusion, right? The whole Jewish zombie meme, the whole Christ coming back from the dead thing. I'll have a whole episode on that, on how ridiculously silly that whole thing is, right? Holy Communion, I'm an ex-Catholic, right? That whole episode coming up on that absurd, insane, cannibalistic ritual. Eat his body, drink his blood. I did that at the last one, right? Misogyny. It's not gone yet. See what Orthodox Judaism is like with women. Evangelical Christianity, attitudes toward women. The Catholic Church is a solidly misogynistic, highly respected institution. It's garbage. In Iran, the recent girl killed because she didn't wear her hijab right, and all the protests going on there, right? Killed in police custody, all by accident. Yeah, sure. Homophobia. We're watching the whole trans and gay mess in the United States. Uganda and other countries, thanks to those same United States evangelicals, have reinstated the death penalty for some homosexual behavior. Isn't that just special? Of course, that's what Leviticus says, so, they're just following the Bible, right? That's why it's got to go. Science denial. Hydroxychloroquine, ivermectin, vaccine denial, outright COVID denial. Almost all the conservative religious in the United States is the source of that. Okay? That's where it comes from. There's a lot of religious people, a lot of conservative people that buy the science, but if you're looking for science denial, you're looking for COVID denial, look no further than hardcore Christianity in the United States. I'll do a whole episode on 6 conservative Christian broadcasters. They were total anti-vax, anti-COVID. They made up little titties about it. All 6 of them, old white guys, all died of COVID within like a 3-4 month period. Great story, I'll give you that in a couple episodes. What do all those things have in common? Religion, religious thought. Yeah. So it's time to drop the bad habit of mythological explanations, phony afterlife musings, delusional beliefs, the power of prayer, that's a joke, patriarchy, misogyny, homophobia, sexual repression, science denial, all things religious like slavery and animal sacrifice. We can drop it. We can get rid of religion. We can do better. No lie. Okay? So that's my pitch for today. Religion is not something special, something humans crave or need. No, we're just taught, if we're grown up in a religion and a child indoctrinated into one, we might think it's really special, but a lot of people have walked away from it. And I'm hoping with the consistent information transfer, our global connectedness, that we can dump religions even further over the next few decades. It'd be awesome to watch it decline just like it has been for 300-400 years. So, if you like this episode at all, if you like this channel at all, please subscribe. Jump on there and hit that subscribe button. You can check me out on Patreon. There's a little Patreon symbol in the upper right of the banner. Or go to the Patreon page and look for Unbelieving Scum. This is part of my livelihood, and I'm trying to get enough following to convince a book agent to pick me up for a book deal for my second book I'm working on. And so, like I said, I hope you like this content. Please join in and try and help me out. Absolutely. Adios. Have a great day.